Hello boys, Kuliyoshi here, and welcome back to my 100% playthrough of Super Mario 3D All-Stars, currently in Super Mario 64, getting towards the end. We left off trying to tackle the last two levels of the game, Talk Clock and Rainbow Light. Now we're about to go back in them again. I'm stopping the time while I'm at it because I do want to get the red coin star of obnoxiousness out of the way, since it seems like the most straightforward one to do. So we're going to go over here and collect some of the red coins. Because you essentially need to stop the time in order to be able to do it. It also works really well for some of the beginning stars as well, since a lot of the time when it starts moving, it becomes very difficult to get up to the top. But it won't always work well. In this case, it works really well. And by the way, this has some of the jankiest collision ever in particular. When I said Talk Clock was hard, I meant it. There's lots of ways it could go wrong with so many stuff, from missing a star just like that to so many other stuff. Didn't miss the star the second time, thankfully. Okay, that gets that out of the way. Straight in. Nice. Alright. Well, since we have this still active, we're gonna go for another red star or whatever, while we have the chance. In this case, it's, I think, going to be the first another star in the area, at least that we can come across. The stupid fire's back again, by the way. Okay, this is getting a little bit tiring to do all the time, so we're going to go in it a little bit earlier this time, so that it's at the free stage, which we got exactly right. This puts it on slow mode, which prevents me from going up the area, but it allows me to still do some other backup shots. The game is intended to have you play most of the stars with all the parts moving except for one, which is the stop time for red coin star. Part of the reason why it was like that in the first place. So the first reason we need this is for a star coming up right here. Once again, we have to wait on a moving hand to get another star. Of course, we've already dealt with stuff like this before, but now it's like just even more annoying. So that little hand that passed from before, we have to wait for that. Going in circles to make sure this fire doesn't hurt me. This is why I hate some of those flame spheres. They just are really annoying. They don't even hurt you fully half of the time because they could get blocked by this. And there you see that's the star we're going for. There is probably a better way to get to it. I think one time I was able to jump into it before. There are quite a few strategies you could do to get to it a little bit quicker than using this. In fact, it might be worth going on fast just so you can get on this a little bit sooner. This is one of the ones where it may be faster to go on medium speed. Slow speed is by far the safest though. Alright, we got it. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Alright, now for probably one of the more difficult stars in the game. We finished getting all of that and doing a couple of other stuff and the red coin star. Now we have to get the 100 coin mission, which is not fun by any means. Because of the way we did the last star, we have to combine the remaining star with either Pit and Pendulum or something else. The biggest source of coins here is not necessarily the coins on the left and right sides, but necessarily a couple of other sides. You can easily sneak in a couple of red coins by trying to go when the timer is stopped on some of those spots, but overall, collecting the red coins with the 100 coin star is not recommended in the slightest because I found out it causes a lot of problems later on to the level when you're trying to get up there. So most of the coin layouts are not necessarily hidden by other stuff, but by these blocks that you see throughout the level. There are 10 coin blocks pretty much everywhere, and the goal is to collect as many coins as you can from them without missing one, because if you miss even a single one, it could be really difficult to recover. Nice dive save there. I probably was dead if I did not do that. The game doesn't necessarily have... While this isn't necessarily the game's hardest level, Rainbow Light has that reserved obvious reasons. Many people still consider it one of the hardest levels just because of so many things that could happen. Like I've already mentioned, each fall down wastes a lot of time trying to get back up, and every time a player falls down, it has another possibility of potentially getting chained into lots of other damage coming across the aim until eventually you just either chain fall damage until you die or just fall chain like a couple of times. I think I've seen at least a few clips now on YouTube of people trying to speedrun this level and getting absolutely destroyed by it. They fell down one level and afterwards they kind of fell down multiple levels at once. More than the other stars, this is one you do not want to fall down on. It costs so much time to fall down on this level. And you're pretty much forced to search the entire level for this too, and it's not necessarily easy too to get it, because more than 50% of the way through this, you have this jerk who chases you through the central part. Or when you try and snag a couple of other coins, trying to throw you off. And then we have another jerk later. And there's just so much stuff to do in order to get stuff. This is my least favorite part of the 100 coin star, just because of how fast you have to go to get back here. Most of the coins will come from that spot right there. Oh, jeez. Now, the last time I initially did this, I did actually initially attempt the speedrun, which does this if time stopped, but actually doing the second part of it requires you to do a special trick later on in the level that is very hard if you try and do it without. Oh, I hate this, by the way. Oh, there's not even anything over there. Why would there even be bits over there? If, you can't get over to that part of the level from the very beginning. In terms of which actual star I'm gonna go for, I'm not sure yet. I have not yet determined that. Probably either this star up above it or something else. Oh, jeez. I nearly just casually walked off there like an idiot, and I barely saved it at the last second. It doesn't help that Mario does take quite a bit for it to turn around in this. Oh, great. I nearly saved that by jumping on the edge, but it was all in vain in the end. Whoa. What did I do? Okay, now this is starting to get silly. Could I at least just get up here? Okay. Well, that was goofy. I actually nearly got up to the top of that central spot. I think that was actually what I was trying to do. Let's try it again. Oh, you just barely miss it. Wow, very annoying. Okay then. Be that way. As soon as we pick up coins, we'll be back at full health anyways, but there's still more to do. I was trying to figure a way to skip this part, but it doesn't look like there's a good way to do it. Good grief. This is my least favorite part, getting a perfect jump to not do stuff up to the side. And there it is. Just like I mentioned, once you fall down once, you fall down multiple layers. I was on 100 coins, of course, so now I have to do the entire lawn mission again. I'm not even sure if I did that right. If it's not on slow, I'm gonna have to redo it. I don't know. Anyway, so because of that big fail, we have to do this whole crazy thing yet again, and it's really annoying. I was very surprised I was able to even get more than 2 coins on this. Those guys' eyes exploded more quickly than I initially expected. I guess it depends on how fast these fades rotate. Well, I can't even get started if I can't do that. Just because there's not many stars to do doesn't mean it will necessarily be difficult. This has 2 of the worst stars to do. And I think I'm going to do that Pendulum Star because I accidentally set it on medium. Medium doesn't seem to have a big difference, but it really does. It makes everything move quicker and everything goes on a different cycle. Like, see, those fades rotate sooner. And that's why I don't like it. So I'll just take an F and try not to, yeah. Okay, that's how it was quick enough to do free. I probably should have taken a quick death anyways, just to get it to the mode I'm more familiar with, which is slow mode. And because of that, I got so confused and went to the left at the beginning. Right, this is 100 coins. So already I failed this 100 coin mission like 2 times. More than the other levels that... Okay. I think it was actually definitely better to reset that. Did you see that? The bomb's coin literally went flying. Because you don't get many red coins, I really do need those bombs as coins to get some stuff. But it doesn't help that they just aren't able to go in the right way there. And that's like the coin RNG playing into a big factor there. There's nothing I could have done there. In fact, I actually kind of grateful I died the edge, just so I don't have to deal with that RNG and maybe end up missing a coin later on. So now we can actually continue on. Alright, Right, let's try not to die in Essential spot again. I've gotten that strategy in particular down well, but everything else could take a while. It's crazy how much just a little bit of a misstep in terms of your overall gameplay changes the entire layout of where the clock is. That's why entering it as a specific layout is extremely important. Jump over the cage here as soon as I had a chance to. Mario Cam once in a while will really help you check the position of this. Oh, I saved that this time with a jump. As long as I have the ability to jump, I can save fades if I happen to fall down. But still, falling down loses a lot of time, which is why out of all the missions, this is even harder than the Rainbow Ride mission. Rainbow Ride is harder for 100 coins simply because of the scarcity of potentially failing it, but Tick-Tock Clock is just super annoying to get through. Because you practically have to go through everything, and there you see I bonked into something and I wasn't able to do anything. And, yeah, just as I expected. 15 minutes later, I can't even complete 1 star, and here comes the fail spam again. Come on, man, let's stop being an idiot and actually play. Hey, I'm not really an idiot, though. This game's just really hard. What do I doubt? This is one of the worst levels in the game. I should have expected it at that point. Ugh. Whenever I fail to go AO while still going slow, like, part of the reason why I go slow in the first place is because I try to get all the coins safely without dying, but then I just end up making mistakes anyways, and then after that I start rushing, and that's when the fail save really comes into play. I think I need to get off of tilt mode right now or something's gonna happen. There's lots of glitches in the game, too, that can also screw you up. The most annoying one, infamous one that I remember, is the frequency for individual little trick things to make things happen. Particularly, it's possible to have Mario straight up get smacked by an invisible wall that either messes you up, it does other stuff, or it does their damage. It's kind of strange what the setup is. Seriously, need to take more time on these jumps. Because I literally failed like 3 times in a row before I finally got back up to this section. And I'm missing 1 coin, I think, because of a couple of other stuff. Oh, come on, dude. That flipper is probably in the worst possible spot, too, to have to deal with that while constantly doing with other stuff. And here, this part in particular, going back, that's supposed to be more difficult than this. But okay, well, I have more coins this time. Man. Ah! Jeez. That's another glitch that could happen. That can also lead to your death sometimes. The biggest way to probably get through this without dying is once you fall down a spot, just try and figure out how you can save it. That's probably your best bet. Beyond that, if you fall down, it's possible to just die really quickly, and I don't like it for that reason. Now, keep in mind, my first fail wasn't necessarily a bad fail or a stupid fail. I just happened to fail on one of the worst parts of the game. Like, this one right here with the top three, that's my least favorite jump to do in the entire area. I'm still quite unsure how to do it. Because a backflip won't get you there. A regular won't get you there. It's just really annoying. I think it just has to be momentum. That's all there is to it, really. And this level's not even put together right all the time. Because it's possible to... Okay, jeez, that was close. You know what? There's gotta be some way of doing that. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention immediately after that jump was one of the worst jumps in the game? I'm just gonna momentum it. Yeah, that's what that was. That's what was causing me so much problems. Okay, come on! I can't even get up. Oh, wait a minute. I know why. That's because the game doesn't tell you this, but there's a wall hidden above that. Apparently. Okay. Alright, collecting a couple more of these, we should be able to win. I'd be happy to at least get the 100 coins out of the way, since that's by far the least favored star of the set. Like, both of the 100 coin missions on these last levels are much more challenging than most regular stars are. Oh yeah, that's right, we have to jump on these again. Jumping on 2 of them is not quite as bad as jumping on several of them in rapid succession, though. Oh, great. Back click to avoid that. I'll take having to wait on a safety just to get this going. Okay, I'm gonna use Mario Cab to find this next one, or just go for the Flomp coins. There is one technically you could kind of land on in the middle that is easier to do, but this clock again is probably our best bet to get to this safely. Just trying to figure out all the safety strats I could do. And from there, I don't really know much else. Because usually in the speedrun, when you collect the 100 coins, you, at this point, would then collect Stomp on the Flomp. So, I'm almost tempted to, instead of doing that strategy that I did to get to Stomp on the Flomp normally, I should have just done this star with Stomp on the Flomp normally. It would have still taken a long time, but at least it would have allowed me to collect that star. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Alright. I don't really know a really good strategy to do anything beyond this. We could look in Mario Cam to get a little bit of help, but beyond that, there's nothing much there. In look around mode. I'm trying to find the cage area, and there you see the central spot in the right. Yeah, it's fine. Even if I mess up, it's not going to be that terrible, because as long as I've done the 100 coin star, I'll be fine. Well, at least now if I do this level again, I'll remember that because of the way this level works. It's best to just get all the other stars other than Stomp on the Flomp out of the way, and then just get Stomp on the Flomp normally. That's... I know exactly why now that they do that. Okay. Well, at least we got close to one of the stars I wanted to do. My least favorite part so far about getting up here has been just collecting that star. Here we go. We recovered that much more nicely this time. It's about time, man. Yeah. That's one star in particular that, unless you're combining it with Stomp on the Flomp, you probably may not want to even combine that star with anything. Like, a lot of beginner players often just opt to do the 100 coins on its own as its own individual mission rather than doing it with another set. It does waste time to not collect it with another star since you get teleported out when you collect the other stars, but not when you collect 100 coins, which is why I've been doing that so much. Yeah. Now, like I said, I did try the original strategy for this. When I initially tried this, I did try and do Stomp on the Flomp with Stop the Time so I could do 100 coins in a specific way, but that didn't work out really well, so that's why I've decided to change it to something else. But I think if I do it again, I'll just do it with Stomp on the Flomp again. But when I do Stomp on the Flomp, I will do that with that lawn star at the end, so I'll save having to climb all the way back up. Okay, so now we get the Pit and the Pendulum Star, or whatever one is left here. I forgot which one it is. Just do that extra kick to get through. It is kind of annoying to play on regular mode here, but it is what it is. Ugh. Doesn't help that I can't really get a running start here. Okay, good. At least I got that on my first try. But this has just begun. Now we have to do Rainbow Ride with all this nonsense, and because I don't really like it, I'm gonna actually attempt to do it last. Alright. Rainbow Ride is probably one of the trickier levels to get to, and it's also the last level in the game. It may not necessarily be the hardest level of the game. TikTok Clock probably has that. But for many people, this is a casual red killer. It takes way too long to get to half of the stars, and most of the other tricks, it just takes really long to get to all the stuff. So for this run, instead of doing that, we're going to lawn jump over to the side at the start for every star except the 100 coin mission, because technically, if you're going for speed, it is faster to do this way. And I will say I do not like this star setup a lot, so I'm going to start with the Cruiser Star, then the Flame Star, another thing, and then I guess just skip everything else after that. That's about the only good skip I know that's consistent. Everything else, we essentially have to ride this rainbow platform thing all the way to the end. Like, yeah, it's essentially an auto-score in a 3D game, and nobody wants that. For fun, we're going to try and stay close to as linear order as possible, meaning we're starting with the first one that people do, the ship level. And then after that, we'll do the red coin mission, and then immediately after that, we'll do something else. Now, even if you were to do the other coin mission perfectly, 100 coins is still very difficult to do in this level. There's so many things that can kill you, and while there are multiple skips for the different and platform challenges that you can pull off, they're all very risky and all very difficult to do. It's just really annoying. My least favorite part is coming up here where you are unable to duck these, and you essentially have to jump over each of them to get to the top. Even that little one on the side, man. And it continues until you finally reach this top part. And yeah. Any death is very costly as we have to go back to the very beginning. This level is part of the reason why back in when the game was first speedrun. The world record was really high. Really high and very long as well, taking a very long time to actually go through. Okay, we've gotten that done. Now the next one we'll do, or a series of two, are the two you can do by actually doing that trick really quick, which is what I'm going to do next. The first is essentially at the end of a maze, and the next one is at the end of the Chicky Triangles. And Big House in the Sky is that star that we're going to do with 100 coins in this case. It just takes a long time to get over there, so it makes the most sense to do that with there last. Okay, so now that we finally got past that, we get to go to some of the two newer courses of Rainbow Wide. These are the parts I like more because there's no real slow section here. It's pretty much all speed to the end, which is really nice for a speedrun if you're trying to get some fun stuff. Yeah, at the end of this long path is how we will get to one of our stars. Obviously, none of these are easy by any means, and probably the most difficult part is the fact that you mess up takes you back to the beginning with having to do that carpet again. And keep in mind, what I did was not necessarily the intended strategy. You are intended to ride that first carpet. There's a first carpet in that area. You're intended to ride all the way to the end. Using that skip, I'm going to skip that for every star but 100 coins, since there are coins there that can be useful to collect in 100 coins, so yeah. Alright. Because I don't really want to do it right away, though, I'm basically going through and collecting the coins in the other spots first. And then... oh, wait. Whoop. I completely forgot about where the Chicky Triangles star is. But, yeah. Sometimes we'll do that, just jump off to the side thinking that there's something there, but really it's up higher. This is the safer version of the skip, by the way. There's another skip that essentially does the same thing, but way more risky. It's like on the left or something. Thankfully, this one does have a small pit. Even if you fall down, you will be able to climb back up if you give it time. It's just really annoying to fall down, though, so try your best not to. Once you actually do this correctly, this is way easier than Tick-Tock Clock just because of its jankier collision and other stuff. Only reason this one's even annoying in the first place is the fact that falling off just costs so much time. It's very risky overall. Okay, now we get onto actual Chicky Triangles. Chicky Triangles is a very annoying platform challenge, as you can see. Because, once again, the collision's very janky. You won't be able to get out half of the time. And to do it, you essentially have to do it really fast. And it's such a fast challenge that if you slow down for even a second, it's crazy. It essentially puts the speedrun in the speedrun. Like... okay, I used a dive at the end to get extra speed there. That was a lot quicker than I did last time. Holy crap. That took way longer the last time I did that. Okay, next star will be 100 coins, and then using the cannon, we can set up a cannon star for later. But I may end up actually doing that one last, simply because of the sheer time it takes to do it. Okay, so now that we've done all of that, I'll show you what to do after doing the skip. If you skip down to here, you could simply climb up to the left, and this takes you straight to the second area, which you normally would be after finishing the second section. And from here, we're going to do the last of the easier stars I know. Because Chicky Triangles was not an easy star by means. And because I want to have some fun, I'm going to trigger this and just show you how annoying this 100 coin setup is. So this is what you have to do for 100 coins. A series of wall bounces all in a row to get up to the top, and there are so many coins up here, it's actually ridiculous. And keep in mind, you do the slow section before even coming here, so if you mess up even once, you have to go all the way in the beginning, and because of the way the route works, you can't really get much here to begin with. But anyways, to actually get through this the intended way and collect all the 8 red coins, you have to essentially take this high spot to get all the way up here, and then essentially do a series of movement to get in here. Okay. Okay, this is great. I'm gonna have to jump around. Oh, somehow it worked. I kind of figured how to do that correctly, since I have used the kick to get myself a couple red coins in some of the other spots, but yeah. Okay, well that one's not gonna work as well as I expected. Okay, well that one has to be gotten much later. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention there's traps everywhere as you go for this maze? This is a maze, essentially, for the red coins. And yes, we're doing the big house one with the red coins, and also using the red coin mission to light up the cannon. Which is the only reason why you want to do the cannon star last, because like I mentioned, you have to get that bomb on to activate. You could do it either during this mission, or you could do it during the 100 coin mission, which is probably safer. I'm just gonna memento this. I don't know what else I could do. Or actually, it's even farther away than I expected. I'm gonna have to do momentum lawn jump with almost no room. Actually, wait a minute. I probably could have just dived for that. Okay. Well, I'm actually getting the red coins a lot faster than I did the last time I did this. The last time I would often fail like multiple times and not even get anywhere close. Like I even levered to lawn jump there. Seems like everything's going my way this time. But anyways, well, I think we've waited long enough. Time for the 100 coin mission that loses the most time. There's slowness everywhere you go, there's lots of craziness, and it ends with probably one of the more trickier star grabs in the game. At least the way it's set up currently, you have to grab it while on a carpet. So now we get to see what the carpet ride is actually supposed to look like. It's not quite as tricky as the initial carpet, it's just annoying because of the fact that to do 100 coins properly, you have to do this, where you go around, collect 8 of the coins, and very quickly make it back without the thing going away. And that's probably my least favorite part of that. That's why I initially wanted to skip that. Now, since it was early on, it didn't quite lose as much time, but it's even more brutal to fall on the last one. And you can see why we skipped this carpet ride in particular. It's really annoying to get done correctly, and it's essentially annoying enough to the point where you essentially have to time your jump off the carpet in a way where you can get back on it without it disappearing on you, but also avoid the fire at the same time on the electricity. And see there, the electricity literally trolled me there twice. A thing that only does like 1 damage trolled me because it stuns you for a split second. And that's why I hate it. And you can see why I avoid that now. It's a good thing I learned that safety strat, otherwise it'd be really hard. And keep in mind, because I'm doing this in this way, I'm essentially only doing this for the 100 coin mission. That's it. And it's because of stuff like that that I hate it. You know what? I don't want to take damage for this thing again. So, I'll do the safety strategy, actually go the right way so I don't fail epically again. Okay, now we have to deal with this Lakitu in the middle of this hovering spot. This one does have a chance for his spinies to come out, so it can be particularly annoying to kill him, but we managed to get through that. Obviously, before we do anything else, we're going to start by immediately heading over to the area on the right and collecting some of the red coins again, while also collecting other stuff as fast as we possibly can. But before I do anything else, really, I do want to do a couple of things. You don't want to collect all of them, since obviously that would just respawn the star again. Okay, I am gonna get rid of you for some extra coins, even though it's only one. Alright! I'm gonna actually do an extra practice loop just to make sure I get this right, because what you saw me do there is probably the most difficult part. And you kind of just have to go for it. And all it takes is one misstep like that, and you're instantly out. And it takes forever to do this. Thankfully, we have 40 lives and a pit right next door, so we're just gonna kill ourselves to do that again until we actually get that. And once again, because we failed that, we have to do the first carpet ride again. The first carpet ride is thankfully not as long as the others, but still wastes quite a bit of time to do that. Like, imagine doing all of this and then failing at the end. Well, I don't really have much time to complain now. I'm gonna have some point do that thing. And like I said, all it takes is one missed up wall kick and you just go down. That's it. There's nothing that can be done, really. And we have to kill the Lakitu again. His minions usually spit off pretty quickly. Okay, I don't care about that coin. Like, why would I care about that coin when I already have a blue coin mission to deal with? Okay, now we've dealt with that. Okay. Jeez, he moved me on really quickly. Well, we may as well just go for this. No sense in waiting. Alright, second try we got all of them. Second legit try, yes, we got all of them. Because we had one practice before this. Okay, now we're gonna collect the coins in about the same way I did last time, which means ignoring those two long and hard to get ones, and getting the ones that I know how to get. Jeez, it would help if I could just get them. Save that with another dive. That dive can be really helpful to save your skid sometimes when you're getting really close to either dying or missing a jump. Okay, so we went through all of that. So how do you get back up after all that? How do you get back up after all that? Well, I'll show you. It's actually a little bit easier than you think. It's kind of annoying, but is mostly easy. You use this platform to get onto the right. You follow that onto the left, and you safety jump over here, and you're just like that. You're back on the spot where you started. I'm not going to collect much from here. I'm just collecting this to get to the left, and then heading down here to collect stuff from the left. Oh, and see, after all of that, I freezed for a second because I was like, what do I do? And then I just jumped off the bull edge. Just like that, I've started to tilt again. That is the worst possible spot to die, too, because it's not even supposed to be a hard jump. I just blanked out for a second and missed it because I wasn't expecting to get there at the time. Ugh. For reasons untold, I may actually cut out this one particular star in general if it takes too long, just because I want to keep my other stuff consistent. Beyond that, though, if I do good enough, I'm never going to really cut out stuff, because it wouldn't be Mario without actually seeing the fails live. Like, Chega actually, like, part of the reason why I'm doing this is for one of my other favorite YouTubers, Chugga Conroy. I do not remember ever cutting out any fails, so if he has any fails in Super Mario 64, they are showing live. So, in an attempt to be like him, I want to do my best to not cut out stuff, because nowadays, everyone cuts out their fails, and it's just not fun to see at all. Okay, well, that was an immediate death. There's no way of making that back. Instantly just dive kicked instead of jump it. That was the result of essentially pressing the wall kick button, which is the jump button, way too early, and I just knocked myself down. So we'll basically consider all of those fails deaths, since it's the only way of getting back up is to die so that we can get back, which is not fun. And then keep in mind, once we're finally done with this stupid part, we have to do this carpet ride on the top area that we did to get to the other platform all over again. It's just really annoying. And it's not annoying that this first carpet ride is not super hard to do. It's just annoying the fact that I have to retry this every time I fail this stinking star. Okay. Lakitu not really giving us good RNG there. Lakitus do have 5 coins if you can pick them up, but they're so kind of RNG to get their coins. Okay, at least we got one of them this time, so it kind of broke even with my PV. That one is not quite a big fail. In fact, I know a great way of actually backing that up. Although I missed a lot of other coins, I do have a good backup strategy. So because I'm off the coin set I want it to be on, I'm gonna do this strategy instead to back it up. Okay, first off, we are pretty far away from this, so we have to do a triple jump to get back up here, right? It may even have to be a triple jump wall kick. Well, speaking of which, I did just do that, but it didn't really matter. So you know what? We'll just do the normal strategy of this. At least if you fail there, oh, speaking of which, the bomb was about to knock me off. That was about to be considered a fail until that happened. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm just gonna do what I was going to do before, but instead of just going through and getting the stuff normally, I'm gonna get every single coin in here. So, rather than skipping 4 of the coins because I got perfect RNG on the other setup, I'm just gonna get all the red coins here and spawn the star a second time. It will waste a little bit of time, but I don't really care. Right now, the most interesting thing we need is just dealing with the stuff. As soon as we can get up top, that'd be good. So again, because of the fail, we have to get every single coin here. Let's make sure we don't collect the star, though. And you can easily see why you don't want to do the red coin star here. Ugh. I hate the fact that I have to leave if a says just because of the way that they move. Just makes it so annoying to avoid. Okay, so we messed up on probably one of the easier spots the last time we were in this scenario, the pole jump. Let's actually jump off the pole properly this time, and maybe early too, so we can get that Shy Guy, because Shy Guy coins are rather tough to nab because of the way you kill them. It often spawns stuff, and if you bounce off them, it's an automatic loss of those coins at the time. Okay. Attempt 2 at trying to collect the coins in here. I am going to just jump off manually, but from this side here. Alright. What do you have for me? This side guy is being kind of weird. I'm just waiting for him, that's about it. The fact that he's sweeping in from the wrong angle makes it really annoying, and we ended up bouncing off him. Except one coin did stop, so we ended up picking it up anyway. Alright. Now the rest of the coins that I could pick up that are not too hard are found in this section. So we're gonna have to do some backwards moving to get them. Alright. Here we go, boys. The longest ride in the game to get all the way to the top of the stupid house. This is where our last coins can be collected and where we can actually collect stuff. By the way, no matter what you do, even in a speed run, you cannot speed this last part up. I'm telling you, man, this is the slowest star in both regular play and speed run coming up right here, getting all the way to the top of the big house. It's safest to pick this up when you have 100 coins, just so you can get that out of the way as well. If I miss 100 coins because of this, or do something else, I may end up just cutting out to get it as an individual star so that I can at least move on to the final Bowser fight. Because this takes a long time to complete. Okay, so for this, we want to go left instead of the initial right spot. I know we mentioned going to the left and doing some other stuff, but, well, speaking of which, we almost already failed because Mario crouched instead of walked. Yeah. Oh my gosh, get me off of here. Well, that's not a big fail, so it's not at all super bad because I could just go down here and there's even a heart nearby. The only annoying thing about it is now I just have to redo that stupid carpet ride, but at least unlike the other fail, I actually do keep my coins, but beyond that, it's really annoying. And that's not even the end of it. There's still more to do after taking that carpet ride. Because the one on the left just takes you to something else. And the one that I did before, that one takes you to the boat. So we don't want either of those. We will be going back to the boat later, though, to perform probably one of the other harder cannon shots in the game. That, of course, has a Chucky nearby that can throw you off. There's no reason to even risk going for that. Because of that, in terms of the strategies I found, that's why I think the big house star, that's one of the easier ones to get. And by the way, I probably should just keep it fair and not change anything out. Okay, I'm gonna backflip here to collect some coins, except I wasn't able to. And, yeah, see, gee, I know that. You know what? I have even better strategy. You already saw what that is. We're gonna... Hello, guys. Sorry about that. I was going to do our stuff, but I am back at the upper part. We have finally reached the house. At long last, after more than an eternity of this, we have finally reached the house. This is the last bit of a part we have to do before we can finally claim our 100 coin star. And it's still possible to fail here. If I don't get enough coins for this, I may end up just doing this. See, I'm not even sure what I should do. But anyway, to start, we have to run down here, collect some coins, kind of stay in this middle part, and then very quickly jump onto the carpet to reset it. Remember, we have to keep on resetting the carpet, because if we take too long on it, it just vanishes, which is really annoying. If I were to guess, probably the safety strat would be on that platform right there would be the best spot to spawn the 100 coin star, but because this is 100 coins, we get to spawn it right here instead, which spawns it in an awkward camera angle. And essentially what we have to do is jump while it moves. That's what you do in the speedrun. Thankfully, I was actually able to do it without failing, which, thank goodness, because we've already had so many fails. It's just brutal. And because of that, we're already very close to another star. Just as soon as this finishes, we'll get another star, and then we can be on our merry way. In the remake version of this on DS, you have to use the balloon to get up here. But in the original, we don't have that, so it takes a very long time to do that. Now we get to another one of the arguably most difficult cannon stars in the game, which for some reason references the Wizard of Oz. I didn't actually realize that. It straight up says somewhere over the rainbow. How crazy is that? I will say, man, when I finally got to watch the original Wizard of Oz, it was such a great story. Like, I've watched, like, other versions of it that aren't quite as good, starting with Oz the Great and Powerful, but I've never actually watched the original for a while until, like, recently in, like, 2018. I finally got to own it on DVD, and it was so cool. Definitely one of the better movies of all time. Pretty inspirational for just having... being a really good movie for the limited amount of stuff they had at the time. But anyways, on to this one. Get ready for one of the worst cannon shots in the game. Just like before, missing it is instant death. This time we have to do pretty much the entirety of the part up to the area we went to before, which is the boat. We have to do that all the way up to here, including this, sorry, Lakitu. RIP. Did not mean to kill you, but you kind of just ended up being in the way. But yeah. So yeah, we get to do the jumping over the obstacle again. Like 3 times in a row. Particularly landing on it is what makes it risky. We go all the way up to the ship, and then once we get to the ship, we literally get one specific cannon shot we have to do, and that's it. We can't do anything else. And from the looks of it, there's not really any power-ups to help us out. So anyways, we got up here, now we have to cross the flank over to the cannon, and this is where things will begin. It would help if the wind wasn't there. Okay, we got into the cannon, which helps out a lot. It would help if the enemies get out of the way. Essentially, you have to aim for that pole and grab it, or head to the side. If you miss either one of those, you run into a Chuckia that starts getting really trolly really quick. So before we can he can take us out. We're going to just land on the star as soon as possible, and there we go. I think I did see one clip of someone actually getting picked up by a Chicky on YouTube. It was just so unfortunate. You get all the way there, which is already a required ride, mostly, to get up there. Which, by the way, is where you would use the Lakitu bounce trick, since you can bounce off Lakitu to save having to do essentially an entire carpet using that. It's pretty busted. There are ways to skip all the carpets except for the last one, but the rest is otherwise pretty precise. Anyways, after all of the stuff we went to, we finally get into Bowser in the Sky, the last level in the game, and already started off with a bang. It's pretty much just as hard in the Bowser in the Dark World level. I consider Bowser in the Dark World to be harder simply because there's less platforms to go through, and this, at least, you can fall down a specific area and climb back up, usually, but it is pretty much just as hard as the initial Bowser in the Dark World was, so once again, very hard level. And because it is 100%, we can't take the free path out. In 70 Star, you would just go to the end and vanquish him normally. Because we need all of the stars, we have to get all of the red coins here. And that first one's by far one of the longest ones. There is a way to get to it without it, but the intended way is to use that block, which is what I'm doing. And this area is also one of the longer Bowser stages. It's definitely at least longer than the other two, but beyond that is mostly actually similar in length to the others. It is particularly annoying to get all of the red coins here, simply because they're spread throughout the entire stages, normally in hidden paths. And probably the most trolly one you'll see we have to fall down here for is this one right here. You only get to see this for a little bit at the beginning, and it's a very tiny ledge you have to get onto. Because of the way Mario turns, if you try and turn around, you just walk off. And that's the only reason why the stage is difficult. It's probably the second difficult of the Bowser stages, because like I mentioned, because of the amount of tricks you could do, Bowser in the Fire Sea is not quite as hard as this one. This one is not as hard once you just go for the end, but it becomes much harder when you actually have to collect the red coins, because like I said, all the Bowser stages are hard when you have to collect the red coins, because suddenly you're going for crazy stuff. And I think that one coin is what makes this so difficult, particularly in 100%. It's just so annoying. Thankfully, it doesn't take quite as long as Rainbow Ride, so we will make this video a little bit longer if needed to. Sorry if I had to cut out that little bit. Like I said, I was at 85 coins when I lost it there. By the way, because I forgot a lot of the coins, I feel like I may have not even been able to do stuff. I was trying to walk off this, by the way. Okay, there we go. Going as slow as I can just to make sure I don't fail off. So, yeah. And yes, of course, out of all of the other ones, there's no spot to fall down when you fall down that part. And that coin is on the tiniest gap possible, like literally the tiniest gap. It's also the coin that I believe I forgot at one point in my first run. This Womp can also be kind of trolly. I actually have had problems with him in the past, but I think I just realized how you're supposed to do that. Ah! Of course. The fire troll does it again. Most of my problems were in that attempt where I was trying to figure out stuff. There's no way I'm cutting this out, by the way. If this ends up being a bad video, I'll only do one video today, and that's it. So let's try and get a good... let's try and stop dying in Bowser in the Sky. Bowser in the Sky is mostly annoying for collecting the red coins. If you go for the rare ending, it shouldn't be that difficult. But, of course, I'm making it seem a lot harder, because... In case you didn't already notice from the first video, it's been a long time since I've played this, so I am not good by any means. The only thing I'm really good at is consistent wall jumps and being able to do stuff consistently. Particularly my backflip strategy has been helping me a lot. Beyond that, I'm not really good at the game. I will at least take a couple of runs before I do. I have, however, 120 starred this game back in 2018 on the Virtual Console, in case I hadn't already mentioned that. So I at least have an idea of how to beat it, but man, it's still a very difficult game. And of course, because I am going through all this, you will see a secret happen at the end, so technically, we will not end the video after we defeat Bowser. Okay, that was not the red setup. Oh, I just went right through them, okay. You could go for the small womps, as you can see, too. It's pretty goofy when you're able to. That stupid fire guy again! Okay, at least I landed on the lower level, thank goodness, but jeez. That's the second time in a row that stupid fire doofus has trolled me. I absolutely hate those fire spewers, or... It doesn't technically have a name for it, because it's literally a black ball that spews fire. I'm gonna call them fire spewers, because that's, like, probably their most appropriate name. And I absolutely hate that one. It's just in the worst spot possible. You get hit from it once, and Mario just goes running off every single freaking time. Jeez, there must be a better way of doing that. I guess I'm gonna have to do the other trick instead. I believe you do have to do a high jump, and it is possible to make it up, but guess what? There's a lot of skips for this, and this is one of them. But just because we're having fun, we're gonna cross the Chicky platform anyway. Make sure there's no red coins back there. I already got the other one, right? If it's not at 4, I will know that it has not been collected. Okay, we got through that. Get ready for a lot of camera usage. Yeah. Now, the thing that makes this mostly hard is not necessarily due to the initial setup. It's all on the Bowser fight itself. Like, the level's not too bad, but Bowser himself is very difficult because, like I mentioned from a previous video, his last fight is rather difficult. You have to do the throw thing you do on him 3 times in a row to finally defeat him, and it is rather annoying. And also for this last bit, we get an auto scorer to deal with. How fun! Not really. This is one of my least favorite parts to do because you get a guaranteed slide there. So depending on what slide you get, you could just slide off just like that. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, I'm just running like crazy. Okay, well at least I got past that. Could have been way worser. Like I said, it's just hard part after hard part. Now, as you can see, there is a pole here, so technically if you were to grab it, you could skip that entire section. And no, this is not like a glitch trick. You're able to skip it with precise movement. That's what I like a lot about Super Mario 64, is just because the levels are so wide open that it's very easy to skip a spot if you know what to do. And this spot that I just passed here, which I'm about to pass, there was an infamous clip. I forget, I'm not gonna say anything, but there was a guy who literally was very close to PBing with world record in a speedrun. And I saw him walk off to try and do a skip to get to this part sooner, because you normally lawn jump off of here to get here a little bit sooner. And he literally got stuck on an invisible wall, not once, not twice, but 3 times in a row, and just like that, his run instantly died because of it. It was brutal to watch. The first time I saw that, I was like, ugh. That's how brutal the invisible walls can be in this game. And also, I had to focus. This is the hardest Bowser fight in the game. And in case you missed it, your star power is useless against me, and you'll never see the princess again. We'll go ahead and lead his text at the end. This is where Bowser starts getting pretty brutal. The only reliable way of damaging him is to essentially wait for his flame attack, where he does all those flame spews out in a row, and use one of those to get all the way to the end. And in case you missed from the previous spot, oh, and now he has a shockwave. Alright. So remember that RNG throw we talked about? We have to get this 2-3 times in a row successfully. And every time we fail, he breaks off a piece of the band and then gives us this beautiful shockwave we have to avoid. It's just really annoying overall. There we go. The only good thing about this fight is if you're not bad, you can usually grab him really quickly. This is the only fight, since obviously in the other 2 he just finishes himself off right away. But here, he just kills himself right away. Also, after the second hit, he completely removes all of the 4 completely. Oh, and yes, he can randomly do that. Now, the only thing that will help you out is if you have fire land down at your, or whatever. It is possible for them to turn in coins. You may have already saw one before. That's your only chance of healing. So, yeah. As you might have guessed, this is the longest Bowser fight in the game, and by far the most brutal. It is a very painful fight to do fast, and as you can see, once Bowser's attack starts getting really good, it's possible for him to spew out blue fires along with his red fires. The blue fires will chase you, essentially forcing you to attack him right away. Now, the lower health you get, the more health you'll get in general, but it is not really helping that we have been missing so many of these throws. And that's not just a dumb thing, too. Bowser is one of the hardest fights for that particular mechanic. But thankfully, because he ended so close, we could just go ahead and do stuff. Alright, so this is the big one. Now that we have hit him 3 times, he's destroyed most of the platform, essentially leaving it down to just a star. So we have to hit him into one more bomb. Oh, see, that one we just barely missed. That just shows you how precise that throw is. Like, there's been I think I've watched at least 3 different speedruns of this game that have all died to this final throw just because it's so dang precise. There we go. At least we didn't die on him. So we got him. No, you've really beaten me this time, Mario. I can't stand losing to you. My troops worthless. They turned over all the power stars. What? There are 120 in all? Amazing. There were some in the castle I missed. Now I see peace returning to the world. Ooh, I really hate that. I can't watch. I'm out of here. Just wait until next time. Until then, keep that left stick smoking. That actually used to be different. In the original game, he tells it the control stick. So it does seem like a lot of the stuff has changed. But there we go. We finally get to see the ending of this game. And before we finish off, I will show off one secret, just in case anybody has forgotten, which is essentially what you get for getting all 120 power stars in the game and finishing Bowser. So yes, after many trials and tribulations, Mario's finally defeated Bowser at the top of Bowser in the Sky. and saved Pete. So, after at least 7 hours or so, whatever this was, about 8. And Yoshi's already there, by the way. It was very hard to catch, though. So by doing all of that, Peach finally returns. She was apparently trapped in her painting at the top of the castle right there. But by defeating Bowser, we have finally released her. And now everything's good, so we can have that cake, right? Alright.
Mario! The power of the stars is restored to the castle. And it's all thanks to you. Thank you, Mario. We have to do something special for you.
Here we go!
Listen, everybody. Let's bake a delicious cake. For Mario.
That voice line cracks me up every time I hear it. It's one of the very few Mario games to actually have voices in it, other than Super Mario Sunshine, which by far had the most. And I like these credits as well, because it essentially goes through every single level you've already beaten, or explored rather, which is pretty cool. Definitely good. But anyways, so there we go. We got every single Power Star, and we also defeated Bowser on top of that. So now the princess is super happy again. By the way, if you were to play this same game on the Japanese version, specifically the Japanese N64 version or Virtual Console release, there is actually no dialogue at all. There is no voice lines at all for Peach. She's completely silent in the Japanese version. That was added later for North American releases to essentially show off that the N64 was able to do voice lines slightly better. While it is not quite as good as the full motion video and voice line cutscenes in PlayStation games, it's still pretty good. And yeah. So, anyways, we're going for all the different levels right now. Probably my least favorite level so far is kind of mixed. Tall Town Mountain surprisingly went well. Oh, when I first played Tall Town Mountain, I was having trouble like that. In fact, I say my 3 worst courses in this playthrough are Tiny Huge Island, followed by a bit of TikTok Hawk, and actually, surprisingly, Rainbow Light ended up being more difficult. Simply because I ended up dying on that 100 coin star so many times. Now, I didn't actually cut out much, so you will still see most of the majority fails. I just paused the videos so that I could get back to where I was. Of course, the producer is none other than the legend himself, Shigeru Miyamoto. In the N64 version, this was essentially a reset and a half once we got here.
Thank you so much for playing my game.
It is still technically kind of a reset, but this time we have a quick way to get back. All we have to do is select Return to the Title Screen Selection, and we can get back to maybe playing this again. And it does save after collecting 120 stars. Okay. So heading back into the game, there is one small secret we could do that'll make the game a little bit more interesting. So, after resetting and getting back in, if we select our file that is fully completed with 120 stars, we can explore around the castle to find that a secret has returned to it. And because my name is Kuliyoshi Untitled 7, I of course have to show this off. So we get a cannon that finally allows us to shoot up to the top. Haven't done this in a while. I'm just gonna go high and hope for the best. Okay, not quite as hard. Head to the left. You find this power up you can collect. We're not gonna do it. Instead, we're just gonna talk directly to Yoshi. Mario, is that really you? It's been so long since our last adventure. They told me that I might see... I waited here, but I just about given up. Oh, is it true? Have you really beaten Bowser and restored the stars to castle and saved the princess? I knew you could do it. Now I have a very special message for you. Thank you for playing Super Mario 64. This is the end of the game, but not the end of the fun. Judah, keep playing. So we have a little something for you. We hope that you like it. Enjoy, the Super Mario 64 team. So now if you want to have more fun, you can essentially come here anytime you want extra lives, and it gets you 99 extra lives. You go straight to 99. Well, actually 100. So, this is very useful for practicing some of those hard stars in particular, like Bowser in the Sea, for example, or something else. It's definitely really fun. But with that, we'll finally end the episode. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, comment, rate, subscribe. Because we have finished that, it is time to continue on to the next game, which will be Super Mario Sunshine. Until then, leave a like if you enjoyed, comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!